Hello and welcome to Across Africa, our weekly roundup of news from across the continent. I'm Haxie Myers-Belkin. Coming up on this week's show, as protests calling for the departure of President Gnassingbe continue in Togo, at least 16 people are dead and hundreds of people are forced to flee their homes. We meet Triplets Ghetto Kids, a Ugandan dance troupe made up of former street children that's making waves at home and across the pond. And with African art increasingly in demand on the international art scene, we head to Nigeria to take a look at the first ever edition of the Lagos Biennale. In Togo, civil society organisations are joining forces with the opposition for renewed nationwide demonstrations. Over the past few weeks, a popular protest movement has been calling for President Gnassingbe to resign. At least 16 people have died in clashes. The violence has also displaced hundreds of people, many of whom have sought refuge in neighbouring Ghana. Our correspondents sent us this report.
They walked more than 9 hours to reach Chereponi, the nearest village from the Ghanaian border. A poor, landlocked area where reception conditions are extremely difficult for more than 600 refugees. There's no reception camp here. These Togolese fled their homes in Mango and Bafilo on September 21st, at the height of the military crackdown on the populations.
The dormitory is not big enough for everyone to sleep there. Hundreds are crammed into the room. Others are forced to sleep in the city. Their safety is not guaranteed.
Refugees fear that Togolese soldiers come under cover in Ghana. The border remains porous even if it's now closed.
We are from the same ethnic group. There's only one river separating us, so they will stay here until the situation there is resolved. They're in good hands.
Due to a lack of space for families, women were separated from men, and we were not allowed to film them for security reasons. Some are women of opposition activists, others are still terrified. This trader injured himself while trying to escape the military in Mango. He's accused by the authorities of shooting a child.
I fled because the military shot the kid in front of me. As they feared I would speak, they wanted to arrest me, saying that it was me who shot the child.
He too fears for his life. He transmitted to the media images of violence by the armed forces. It's impossible for him to go back to his home.
The situation is calm, but that doesn't mean it's safe. Every day there, people are being harassed.
Refugees do not receive any help beyond that of villagers who are already very poor. But that day, a Togolese woman, a political activist in exile for 23 years in Ghana, brings more than 2 tons of food.
There is no humanitarian organization on the spot. They're totally abandoned.
Refugee numbers could rise again in case of reprisals against a stronger popular protest in northern Togo.
In the South African province of KwaZulu-Natal, local politics is dangerous business, with dozens of people killed in politically motivated shootings in recent years. With President Jacob Zuma stepping down as chief of the African National Congress in December, what's happening in KwaZulu-Natal is shining a harsh light on the divisions at the heart of the ruling party.
This accommodation for migrant workers is one of the most dangerous places in South Africa. Gleeblands in KwaZulu-Natal is home to several of the gunmen responsible for a slew of killings in the battle for control of the regional branch of the ruling ANC party that has claimed more than 90 victims since 2014.
We lost a lot of our friends here. As you can see, these holes here, R5, AK-47 had been used to us. I'm not telling you the hearsay. I'm telling something that I was present when it happened. The people that are hitmen here, they are being used by the politicians.
Tens of thousands of people live in the complex of 71 squalid dormitories. It's easy to recruit shady characters ready for illicit work from the residences. They're watched over by police who turn a blind eye.
And there's been so many complaints about corruption and collusion with hitmen by the local, involving the local police station and other certain individuals within the police force, and no proper investigation to stop that. So the hitmen thought they could just carry on doing what they do best, and because of the economic conditions, it makes it very easy to hire a hitman. So it's proliferated, and now it's really sort of out of control.
Some members of the ANC accept the party's share of the blame for the mounting bloodshed, but few have acted to stop the hitmen or to protect their targets.
We cannot continue with this kind of culture. It's a counter-revolutionary culture. Killing is a crime even in the Bible. So we cannot tolerate it. We should not tolerate it. All of us must take that decision that I'm going to be part of finding a solution.
With the leadership of the ANC in the balance, the party is more divided than ever between Cyril Ramaphosa, the deputy president, and the president's former wife, Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, who comes from the region. The bloodshed in the state looks set to continue for the foreseeable future.
They have over 82,000 friends on Facebook, and their videos are watched 32,000 times every day. Triplets Ghetto Kids are a group of 9 former street children from Uganda who've shot to stardom after featuring on a platinum-selling track by Moroccan-American rapper French Montana.
Ride with me, boss. I got a hard head, but her ass up.
When French Montana's people called, Triplets Ghetto Kids got straight to work.
They gave me the song, and then they told me to create the moves. I always do with the kids. So we sat down, we listened to it, and we started creating some moves. And that's how we came up. And then within 3 days, French Montana was in Uganda. So that's how we came to meet him.
Based in Kampala, Triplets Ghetto Kids is a dance troupe made up of former street children. They appeared in a local artist's music video in 2014, and their impressive moves soon earned them a loyal YouTube following. Moroccan-American rapper French Montana liked what he saw and enlisted them as dancers for his platinum hit, Unforgettable. Triplet Ghetto Kids knew something big was happening when they were invited to perform alongside the star at this year's Black Entertainment Awards in Los Angeles.
I felt so good because, first of all, we were the first African dancers to perform on that stage. So I felt so good.
I kneeled on my knees and I prayed to God, and I told him, thank you, God. Because some time back, some few years ago, I was looking at those stages and on TV. I used to admire them, but God made it possible.
They may be revered for their moves, but the dance troupe's founder says the goal was never to be famous. It was all about teaching the kids to aim high in all things.
These kids are really now growing up, and each and every kid has his own ambition. They have what they want to be in the future. So we are trying out to see if some, maybe for example, Patricia wants to be a lawyer. How can we help her to achieve that?
Dance has offered Triplets Ghetto Kids a way out of poverty and into the international spotlight, but also into the classroom. These kids certainly don't do things by halves.
That is quite catchy. Now, the African art market is experiencing something of a boom these days. The London-based auction house Bonhams now regularly finds itself selling African works for 3 times the estimated price, with Nigerian artists in particularly high demand. Keen to capitalise on the global appetite for its art scene, Lagos is for the first time hosting its own Biennale. Our correspondent Anna Cunningham went to check it out.
It's called The Red Day. That's the title of this work created by the Nigerian contemporary sculptor and performance artist Jelili Atiku. The multimedia artist specialises in work focusing on human rights and justice issues. For the first Lagos Biennale, his performance was about the victims of Biafra.
To me as an artist, I want to add my voice to that. And so that is the impulse behind the performance, and also for me to let them think, they recall the memory of the Biafra War, the first one, how a lot of people died, how a lot of blood was split, and how horrible it was at that time.
Inside an old disused railway shed, the carriages and walls have become a gallery for the varied works of art. Photos depicting a life beyond Boko Haram. Sculptures in wood representing corruption in Nigeria. And installations that seek to address the electricity and economic problems across the country. This first Lagos Biennale had little funding, but organisers hope this will showcase some of what Nigerian artists have to offer.
We love the fact that we're African, but this is firstly for, an international audience, but also international participation, because there's no way we can exclude ourselves or create a bubble, from the whole world.
As Nigerian art attracts a bigger audience, those involved in this exhibition hope they have played a part in demonstrating Nigerian artistic talent.
And the Lagos Biennale is on until the end of December. Well, that brings us to the end of this week's edition of Across Africa. Thank you very much for watching.